What is up, guys? Eric here with TeamEccenTrick, bringing you guys another dual commentary video. I'm on the left playing NEKROZ. Connor's on the right piloting his Dark Magician Ritual deck, I believe. It's like you know, it plays the incantations and the Magician of Chaos Ritual monster that allows you to pop when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's its effect. Either way, it's supposed to be an interesting matchup because we're both playing ritual decks, so you know, I mean, mine you know, has a little bit more of a consistency factor, I believe, but nonetheless. So I believe game one, Connor is going first. So first he activates his spellbook of secrets, and then he searches Blue Boy. He summons Blue Boy, which allows him to, which mandatorily allows him to search another spellbook spell card. Blue Boy's effect is mandatory, so he searches Knowledge, attempting to get that the draw, you know, to get more plays. Probably dig further into his deck. He reveals Talismandra, and then special summons Candle allowing him to search from his deck one ritual spell card. The incantations really do help ritual decks. It's really honestly crazy how you know, just how strong ritual decks are compared to how they used to be. But he activates the advanced ritual art, sending Dark Magician from his deck to his graveyard to special summon Magician of Chaos, which is a really strong ritual monster. And then he activates Prep of Rites, which allows him to search for a level 7 or lower ritual monster, and then he gets to add back a ritual spell card. So he activates another advanced ritual art, sending another copy of Dark Magician from his deck to the graveyard to special the second copy of Magician of Chaos that he added off of that Prep of Rites. Prep of Rites is honestly such a good card because if you can, you know, recycle your ritual spell card if you already used it and you need it, and you can add it back. So Prep of Rites can essentially be a +1, giving you use it in the right circumstance. It's just such a good card, and the fact that it's at 3, especially with when NEKROZ is you know, obviously with the most recent ban list, got sure it's a 2, and you know, we have almost everything we need with the deck now. I mean, who would have ever thought in 2015 that NEKROZ would have all this stuff, you know, Prep of Rites at 3 and everything, but he activates Pot of Desires after sending Blue Boy off of Knowledge. So he banishes his 10 for a cost, and I don't play any hand traps, so there's no response there. I will be making a side deck. I am going to be profiling my NEKROZ guys, especially now that Shirt went to 2. I've been hoping to get a NEKROZ deck profile up for a while now. I just wanted to get extravagances, but I only have 1 copy, so I'm just going to profile with 1 copy and say fuck it, but either way. So Connor draws the 2 cards, essentially a +1. He sets a card, sets another card, and then he sets a third, and I believe there he passes turn. So it's my turn, I draw a card. Just checking the effects of Magician of Chaos here. Just trying to make sure that the card isn't as, you know, isn't too busted. You know, you can't just absolutely annihilate everything that I do. But, you know, I mean, it is a pretty well-established field, especially for a ritual deck. But I activate NEKROZ of Colossus, which allows me to search a NEKROZ spell trap card. Trap card. NEKROZ spell card. So I search NEKROZ cycle, aiming to get those rituals, and then after that I reveal Talismandra and a ritual monster, which allows me to special summon an incantation Pencil Plume from my deck, which allows me to add back the Colossus. Not that the Colossus would do anything from this point. Not only that, his deck doesn't really function on extra deck monsters, but I tribute for the Zaborg, so strong. Zaborg in this deck is ridiculous. So I use Zaborg's effect, targeting itself. I actually do make a bit of a miscalculation. Instead of sending one of those other synchro monsters, I should have sent my Saffron Mode Omega. Would have established my advantage a little bit more. I just wasn't thinking, I was thinking more about clearing his board than I was about gaining advantage. So, you know, I sent the Elder Entity Inst and the Herald of Arclights, and then 2 other synchro monsters, when one of those synchro monsters should have been Saffron Mode Omega, so I could have looped back my Herald, and then went off with Unicorn plays and more pluses. But that is my fault. So I go Chain Links 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Elder Entity Inst doesn't actually have to target face-up card, which is cool. So I can just target anything. So I target his 2 Magician of Chaos and one of his face down cards, and then after that, my 3 Heralds trigger, which allow me to add ritual monsters or spell cards from my deck to my hand. So I had Valk, Brio, and what looks to be a Trish, I think. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure I had the Trish. Then I activate the Brio, discarding it from hand to add a NEKROZ monster from my deck to my hand. NEKROZ is just super consistent. Obviously, it does have a lot of choking points, you know, Call by the Grave, Ash Blossom. And off of the Brio, I add Gungnir, figuring that his Magician of Chaos, if it does come back and start trying to pop my things, I have Gungnir to protect things. You know, just sit on my ritual monsters. But it's you know, it's kind of a weird situation because I didn't send my Cypher Mode Omega when I should have. Obviously, you know, wasn't paying attention, just trying to clear his board more so than gain advantage. So I activate NEKROZ Mirror, and I tribute Colossus from my hand and banish Brio from my graveyard, and I special summon NEKROZ of Trishula, attempting its effect to banish. So I banish one of his face down cards. And the fact that the NEKROZ of Trishula is just like the regular Trishula, where it doesn't target, it banishes on resolution. Even if he had a hand trap, as long as it wasn't the only card in his hand, it literally wouldn't have mattered. I would have been able to banish more than, you know, whatever. But either way, you know, I banished the Desires, the Eternal Soul, and a Dark Magician from his graveyard, figuring I can at least kind of take away one of the linchpins of his deck, and then after that I attack over his Talismandra and then pass to him. So he activates Prep of Rites again. It's such a good consistency card, and I mean the fact that it's literally a +1, it literally is just a free +1 as long as you have a ritual spell engrave and a ritual monster in deck, which obviously any ritual deck is going to have, especially NEKROZ. It's just such a good card. But either way, honestly, NEKROZ, I've always loved the deck. I've always, you know, loved the playstyle. It's a difficult deck to pilot, but it's really, really cool. I know that I play the Zaborg version, however, I know that my peer Winter Kills prefers the Vanity's Ruler version, which I consider to be actually a lot better. It's a lot more consistent, obviously, because you're tributing the Ben 10 to search for the Vanity's Ruler, but I know I have a copy of Vanity's Ruler laying around somewhere, but he activates Advanced Ritual Art, sending Dark Magician for the Magician of Chaos again. As I was saying, you know, I have a Vanity's Ruler laying around somewhere, but it's in all of my bulk, so he passes to me. It's in all of my bulk, but I can't find it, so I got, you know, once I find it, then I'll be able to play that version, because I have the Ben 10s and everything. But so now I'm going on in my turn. I activate Extra Foolish Burial, paying half my life points to send a monster from my extra deck to the graveyard. And then he attempts to use Magician of Chaos to pop my Trish. I discard Gungnir's Chainlink 4. So I send my Cypher Mode Omega, which is what I should have done off of the Zaborg. And then I use Omega's effect to send back Herald of the Arclight for future turns. Thing is that because I only have one Pot of Extravagance, my my replacement for the second one is actually, and then I attack over his Magician of Chaos using the Trishula, and I during damage calc use Decisive Armor. But yeah, so for the replacement for my other Pot of Extravagance, I actually use Extra Foolish Burial because it allows me to, in any scenario, send whatever I need, which in this case was actually perfectly timed because I needed to get that Cypher Mode Omega into the graveyard so that I can get to my Unicorn. You know, my Unicorn play. But now it's his turn, so he uses Secrets to search Knowledge. And this deck is super thin. Those Desires just really, really killing the, you know, the deck count on him. You know, me, I'm just sitting on a NEKROZ of Trishula, really not doing too much other than just beating down on his life points and just trying to do things. But after that, I draw Prep of Rites, so that's certainly a card. I add NEKROZ of, I believe, Brio, and then I add back the Mirror. So then I activate Brio, allowing me to search a NEKROZ monster. Excuse me. So then after that, I ditch the Brio to add the Unicorn so that I can actually get the play that I normally like to do, which is the Unicorn. I mean, not that it really does anything against his deck. I mean, his deck is similar to mine in that it plays rituals rather than actually playing, you know, an extra deck focused strategy. But after that, I activate the Kaleido, sending the Herald from the extra deck to summon the Unicorn, and then after that, I add a ritual monster from my deck to my hand. So here I add the second NEKROZ of Trishula, figuring I can probably clear out the rest of his advantage, or not necessarily advantage, he's not really at an advantage, but you know what I mean, clear out some of his last few cards remaining on the board, and then after that activate the mirror, banishing the Brio and the Colossus for the second Trishula, and then I banish Advanced Ritual Art, figuring if he has another prep that would hurt him, the monster on his field, and then I banish a card from his hand. And then he shows me what he would have drawn into, and he does play one copy of Chaos Max, figuring that if somebody were to pop his Magician of Chaos, he gets to summon the Chaos Max from his hand, which is actually, I'll admit, rather strong. It's not necessarily the most consistent thing, but he does only play the deck for fun. It's not as if he plays the deck competitively or intends to bring the deck to an event or anything. So, you know, I mean, playing the Chaos Max is kind of just a nifty little tech that, you know, given the right circumstance, can lead to some cheesy victories. But now we're going into game 2. No siding. Neither of us have side decks built for these decks. You know, I mean, like I said before, I do intend to build a side deck for this. And I do intend to change some cards in the extra deck. But again, I haven't done my deck profile for this deck yet. And I've had the deck for a while. I just really haven't seen the you know, the demand for the deck profile, only because I don't have extravagances, or well, now I have one copy, but you know, I feel like one copy is just not enough. But I'm gonna do the deck profile anyway. I figured, you know, get it out of the way, especially now that the July 15th ban list is out. I mean, the ban list was nuts, by the way, guys. Not to digress from the match, but the ban list was crazy. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about the ban list, because I actually like it. Now we're going on my turn, so I'm starting game 2, and I reveal Chalice Line, attempting to discard the Incantation Ritual spell. Then I special summon an Incantation monster from my deck. And then I special summon Talismandra, attempting to get a search for a Ritual monster, so I search for what looks to be Brio. And then the Incantation Ritual spell card in tandem with Chalice Line is actually really good. It's a really good combo. If you're playing any Ritual deck, I obviously think you should most certainly, you know, throw a copy of it as well as the Ritual spell into your deck. It's just so good, especially when you draw them in tandem, because it allows you to essentially just plus for damn near free. I mean, you just send the Incantation Ritual spell, and then after that you off of Chalice Line's effect, and then after that you special summon an Incantation monster. The Incantation monster gets you a search for something, and then you send it to the graveyard, as I'm doing now, as you can see, using the Incantation Ritual spell from grave to special summon another monster, and then that monster will get you a search for something else, and then you resolve it and add it back to your hand. So then from there I add back Kaleidoscope, figuring I can, you know, initiate smarter plays in game 2 than in game 1. So I use Brio. And Brio adds the Unicorn as what I should have done in game 1. However, you know, I mean, obviously sometimes you make mistakes. You know, in retrospect, that's just how the game goes. I use Kaleido, send Herald, special summon the Unicorn, and then Herald's effect allows me to get a search. So I search for what looks to be NEKROZ of Trishula, figuring I can prevent him from targeting in case he activates the Dark Magical Circle, which is definitely a card that would hinder me if I don't have some kind of way to respond. But after that I activate NEKROZ of Colossus, and I add NEKROZ Mirror, figuring if he doesn't have a way to target any of my monsters that would mess up my board, then you know, then I can set up for next turn with Mirror. And even if I do have to discard the Trish to negate a targeting effect, normal summons the Rod, attempts search. I can at the very least again set up for next turn. If I can get like maybe another search for another Brio or something like that, I can, you know, search for the second Trishula and just kind of, you know, blow Connor's board out. You know, it's one thing that NEKROZ is actually pretty good at it. At least, you know, the Zaborg build, or even just like the standard build of NEKROZ, not the Vanity's Ruler build, but even then, Vanity's Ruler build can do it. At least I think it can, where you just kind of establish your Unicorn and establish as many NEKROZ hand traps into your hand as possible. Just get everything into your hand as soon as you can, set up NEKROZ of Unicorn, and then if you're playing the Vanity's Ruler, obviously you summon the Vanity's Ruler, and if not, then you just sit on the Unicorn for a turn, and then after your opponent commits some resources to the board and sends some things to grave and does some things, they pass to you, and then you just blow them out with the NEKROZ of Trishula. That's always been kind of the standard thing, but it's still hilarious that it works to this day. So Connor activates the Dark Magical Circle, revealing the top 3 cards of his deck to himself, and then he gets to either add a Dark Magician or a spell card or a trap card that includes Dark Magician and its card text, or if none of the cards are any Dark Magician cards, he can basically, or even if he does add a card, he can basically just send the cards back to the top of the deck in any order, which is pretty good. Just allows him to set up for whatever draws he needs, whatever he thinks is going to happen. He activates Chaos Form, the actual ritual spell. It tributes the Dark Magician from the hand for Magician of Chaos. Then he attempts to target my NEKROZ of Unicorn using Dark Magical Circle, and I negate the effect using NEKROZ of Trishula, figuring, I gotta keep the Unicorn on board. I cannot let it get banished. Even though I have a way to recur it, it's only a one of, so I am playing the Dance Princess. I feel a Dance Princess is pretty good. So, and then after that, he attempts to attack with Magician of Chaos, and I use Valk. That's the thing about NEKROZ, is they have those hand traps, and it's so frustrating to have to play through it. But from there, it looks to me as if I drew the Shuret. So then after that, I use Chalice Slime again, and I discard the Incantation spell card again. So good. So from there, I special summon the Pencil Plume, figuring I can get an add back. And Pencil Plume adds Brio back to my hand. So much consistency with NEKROZ. I love the deck, to be honest. I played the deck a while back, but I didn't play it during its most competitive format, so I didn't really get the chance to play it when Jinlock was around, or even the format right after. I played it back when people were using Brilliant Fusion and Kaijus and things like that, back when Brio was at 1 and everything like that. So after the Brio, I add the Trishula, I activate Mirror. And he attempts Magician of Chaos, because I activated Mirror. He pops my Unicorn, which I allow to go through, but then I banish the Cycle and the Colossalus and the Brio for Trishula, and then NEKROZ of Trishula effect. I banish a card from his graveyard, a card from his field, and then a card from his hand. I banish the Dark Magician, I banish the Pencil Plume, and then I banish the Dark Magical Circle, figuring getting out his removal. It's spot removal once per turn as long as he summons the Dark Magician, which is not difficult for his deck, so I needed to clear that out. But I used the Incantation Ritual spell card again. Such a good combo if you draw it in tandem with Chalice Slime to special summon from the deck 1 Talismandra. And then I add back the Ritual spell, and then Talismandra's effect. I add the NEKROZ of Gungnir. Gungnir has a really cool effect, by the way, that when it's on the field, you can discard a NEKROZ card in your hand and pop a card, and it's a quick effect, which is really nifty, really good for spot removal. So essentially, we traded places. I got rid of his Dark Magical Circle, and I'm attempting to here set up my NEKROZ of Gungnir with a NEKROZ card in hand so that I can pot things in case he attempts to go in and set up more advantage. So I attack with NEKROZ of Trishula. I attack over the Magician of Chaos, figuring clearing that out would be the smartest way to go about it. And then after that, from what I am aware, the NEKROZ monsters don't say they have to be ritual summoned off of the NEKROZ spell, so I use the incantation to summon the Gungnir. However, that may be a misplay. I'm not sure. From what I saw in the cards, they say they can be ritual summoned using NEKROZ cards. I just know they can't be, summoned from the graveyard or anything like that off of anything in particular. But now it's Connor's turn. He activates Allure of Darkness, and then banishes another Magician of Chaos, leaving him with not much on board. And then he activates Eternal Soul, and then he special summons his Magician of Chaos, and then I attempt NEKROZ of Gungnir effect. As soon as he goes into battle phase and declares attack, I discard the Valk and then pop his Eternal Soul, which basically destroys his board and ends the game there. Again, guys, you know, I know that I use the incantation ritual spell to summon the Gungnir. I'm not sure if that is a legal play or not. It may be an illegal play. I'm not too sure. If it is, let me know in the comment section below. I mean, it would have been game either way, because even if I didn't use the incantation or ritual spell to summon the Gungnir, I had another ritual spell in my hand. I believe I had Cycle, if not maybe Kaleido in my hand, so that I could have done other things. Either way, it would have been game. I would have just done the same play, just on, you know, just maybe with a different line of play, different card, different play structuring. However, I can't remember if the incantation ritual spell card can't summon or can summon the NEKROZ monsters. I mean, the NEKROZ monsters, if I'm not mistaken, say they can be ritual summoned by NEKROZ spell cards, but I think they can be summoned by other ritual spells, given that the ritual spell is generic. Either way, guys, I will be bringing you guys deck profiles for this, and maybe even Connor's Dark Magician ritual deck. It's actually a pretty cool deck. Basically it's just spot removal deck. You just set up as many forms of spot removal as you can, and then just start popping off. Picking off your opponent's field as soon as, while they're trying to set it up. But that's it for this game, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I really appreciate any of your guys' views. Rate, comment, subscribe. We appreciate any viewership you guys can give us. We've really been lacking on content. It's still summertime. It's always rough during summertime, just with our busy schedules. Me skateboarding, Connor doing his thing, and everybody doing their own thing. But once fall and winter come back around, we will be on the channel a lot more consistently. I also have plans to bring you guys another Danger Thunder profile, by the way. That deck is not dead. I mean it, that deck is not dead. It's nowhere near as explosive, but it is certainly not dead. I also intend to bring you guys an update on Mermail now that I have Cyframe Lord Lambda, which is a relevant card in the deck. There is a 2-card combo, which allows you to end on a 3-card hand loop, and a Cyframe Gear Gamma in your hand with a Lambda on board, giving you're playing those cards in the main deck, or at least siding them, and maybe siding them in game 3, however you want to work it. That's what I personally do. But as I said before, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here. Eric here with TeamEccenTrick, and I'm signing out. Rate and subscribe, leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below, and don't hesitate to give us respectful suggestions on content you want to see. Eric on behalf of the team saying take care, and TeamEccenTrick out.